If you are from another planet, it's always a few. Stand up if you are a member of the Salvation Army. Remain standing if you've been a member for less than 1 year. Anyone? Less than 1 year. Newcomers. Wow, very good. How about for more than 10 years? More than 20 years? 30 years? 39 years? And we don't want to get too personal. Have a seat, everyone else. That's right. That's right. Stand up if you, it was Valentine's Day, just the day before yesterday? Was it yesterday?
Yesterday.
My wife will be so pleased. Here's a question. Stand up if, is there anyone here who married their high school sweetheart? Aww. Stand up if you married your college sweetheart. Stand up. Stand up if you married someone else's high school or college sweetheart. Stand up if you are single and you think that on one weekend you can initiate possibly a long-term, lasting, and meaningful relationship. I just thought those folks might want to get a look at each other there. Okay. All right. Stand up if you have seen the movie Star Wars more than 5 times, the original Star Wars. Stand up if you've seen Gone with the Wind more than 5 times. Stand up if you've seen Gone with the Wind once, but it felt like 5 times. Stand up if you've ever seen the movie Casablanca with Humphrey Bogart. Stand up if you've seen any Humphrey Bogart movie. Stand up if you didn't stand up because you have no idea who Humphrey Bogart is. Thank you. Thanks.
Uh-oh.
Stand up if you've ever played Mary or Joseph in a Christmas pageant or a nativity play. Stand up if you've ever played Jesus in any play. Wow. Stand up. Stand up if you've ever worked for someone who thought they were Jesus. Yeah, it's okay. All right. Little Bible quiz. Stand up if you know the name of the angel that told Mary she would have a baby. The angel's name was? Very good. Stand up if you know. Stand up if you know the Latin word for wise men. It's easier than you think, actually. Wise men, anyone? And it is magi, the magi, sure. Stand up if you know the name of the animal the Bible says Mary rode to Bethlehem. Yeah. You know, I stood up too, but actually the Bible mentions no animal whatsoever. It's one of those things I was so sure about, that I knew about the Bible, that I in fact learned from Christmas cards. They may in fact have walked. You can go back and check it out. Our last questions come from the Moses Briggs Personality Inventory, which is strangely a sung exam. I'll sing the line of a song, you just sing back to me the next line. Maresy dotes and dozy dotes. East side, west side. These are the older folks, or the nostalgia buffs. It's my party and I'll Nestles. Those were the boomers. Here's the story. These are the people who watch way too much TV, okay? And let's try one more. Let's see if anyone gets this. Hey, I just met you.
And this is crazy.
Okay. Lots of people here who watch way too much MTV or YouTube. And one final one. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. And that's all of us who are gathered tonight under the umbrella of that grace. Thank you. Gives us some small idea of who's here.
Tom?
Yes.
We are going to need some light back here. If the lights all go out, it's kind of black.
Is there a way to get a little light backstage without... What's that? This little thing up here? All right. Let's see if I can do that. Is there a switch on it? Ah.
Ta-da!
Is that enough?
We'll see. Yeah, there.
How's that?
It should do it.
Say that again? Okay, and now as they used to say in Monty Python, and now for something completely different. So far on this platform, if you've seen us perform, it's mostly short pieces that we might do in a worship service. But we do lots of different kinds of performing, and the piece you'll see tonight, if you can do this in your church in a worship service, I'd really like to see that church. In fact, this is a longer piece that you might do for a dinner theater, for an entertainment evening, for an outreach evening, that sort of thing. And in fact, it is a story from the Bible, Acts chapter 12, but we will be doing it as though it were a 1940s detective story, like a Humphrey Bogart movie. It is from the Noir Testament, if you will, if you know film noir. And since we are going to take great liberties with the story, we thought it'd be nice if you heard the story closer to its original form. And we have a guest reader tonight, Tom Kreuter, who will now come up and read the passage.
A reading from Acts chapter 12. About this time, King Herod had Peter arrested and put in jail. There he was handed over to the guards to be guarded by 4 groups with 4 soldiers in each group. On the night before his trial, Peter was sleeping between 2 guards. He was tied with 2 chains, and there were guards on duty at the prison gate. Suddenly, an angel of the Lord stood there, and a light shone in the cell. At once, the chains fell off of Peter's hands. Peter thought he was having a vision, but he followed the angel out of the prison. When they came at last to the door to the city, they went out, and suddenly the angel left Peter. Aware of his situation, he went to the home of Mary, mother of John Mark, where many people had gathered and were praying. Peter knocked at the outside door, and a servant girl named Rhoda came to answer it. She recognized Peter's voice and was so happy that she ran back in without opening the door and announced that Peter was standing outside. "You're crazy," they told her, but she insisted that it was true. Meanwhile, Peter kept knocking. At last they opened the door, and when they saw him, they were amazed. When morning came, there was a tremendous confusion among the guards. What had happened to Peter? Herod gave orders to search for him, but they could not find him. So he had the guards questioned and ordered them put to death. And now, the case of the missing bodies.
I was sitting in my office on one of those dreary Monday mornings when you pray the angel of hangovers will pass over once and for all. As a matter of fact, it had just been Passover the week before. Pentecost wouldn't be here for another 50 days, and in between, the rent was due. It wasn't easy doing what I did in the city. The year was 44, and the times were tough. Yeah, that's Jerusalem, 44 A.D. The name is Bar Shamus. Sam Bar Shamus, Private Eye. Like I said, I was just sitting in my office watching the bills stack up higher than my bank balance when all of a sudden I heard a knock that let me know my landlord hadn't scraped my name off the glass of my door. If that's an eviction notice, there's nobody here.
Hello, Sam. It's been a long time.
It was a face from the past, an old flame. We used to spark pretty good, but I dropped the torch years ago when it got too hot to handle. Lola Magdalena.
Good guess, Sammy. I guess that's why you're the detective.
I can't believe it's really you, right here in the flesh.
Oh, Sam, you always did have a way with words.
Right. So, what brings you here besides a taxi and a pair of cheap pumps?
You got something against low heels?
No. I've been one before, and I'll be one again if I have to. State your business.
Same old Sammy. All work, no play.
Helps Jack pay the bills. Listen, if you're chewing on some kind of a problem, why don't you spit it out?
Don't be that way, Sam. I really need help.
Right. Last time you needed help, I found $500 missing from my money clip.
Please, Sammy. I don't know where else to turn. It's Johnny. He's in trouble?
Johnny, as I recall, was a good-for-nothing boyfriend. The guy had all the brains of a basketball, but I guess she picked him up on the rebound. So what is it this time? Another gambling debt at the chariot races?
No, he's in big trouble this time, Sam. Wasn't his fault. Really, it wasn't. But you know what it's like arguing with Herod. He just won't listen to reason.
Whoa. Slow down. You telling me Johnny's got trouble with King Herod?
Yes, but it's all a terrible mistake. You know, Johnny's uncle got him that job at the kitchen in the prison. He brings food to the inmates, and he's been doing really good. Really, he has, Sam.
Listen, dollpuss, you better start at the beginning. What happened?
Well, Johnny's been on the prison job now for a couple of months. Last week, they get this new prisoner in maximum security. Johnny says he seemed like a real nice person. Kind of different from most of the folks you meet in the slammer, you know?
No, I don't know, but I'm sure Johnny does.
Well, last night, this guy disappears from his cell, and it happened on Johnny's shift. They think he had something to do with it. You gotta help him, Sam.
What do you want me to do?
Well, you gotta find out what really happened. You gotta clear Johnny with Herod. Will you do it, Sam?
As a general rule, I try to avoid tangling with tyrannical rulers who have the absolute power to put me to death at their smallest whim. I wasn't sure I wanted to make an exception in this case.
Please, Sammy, for old time's sake.
Supposing I tried to clear Johnny, and it turned out he was guilty after all. The king might just decide to short me about 10 inches. In my line of work, you need to keep your head.
Will you please stop narrating and give me an answer?
All right. I'll see what I can do, but no promises.
Sammy, darling, you're an angel. I won't forget this.
As soon as she was gone, I counted my money. It was all there, but I still knew getting tangled up with Lola was a big mistake. I just prayed I'd live long enough to regret it. My first stop was the records department at the county courthouse, just to get the lowdown on the bird who flew the coop. As usual, their courteous and helpful staff were standing by to serve me.
Well, if it ain't Mr. Samuel Boss Seamus. I thought I smelled something rotten.
Rosie, how's my favorite girl?
Oh, I don't know. If she's been around you, she's probably sick to her stomach, same as me.
What? You still mad at me?
Last time you was here, you nearly cost me my job.
Oh, imagine having to give up all this.
Well, it ain't so funny. A girl's got to make a living.
Oh, yeah? Not when she's got a lovesick man just dying to take care of her.
You think I was born yesterday? What are you really after?
How about one of your smiles?
How about I shorten your nose? Because I think it's growing.
Okay. Look, what I really need is some information about that guy that escaped last night.
What? Are you crazy? Nobody's even supposed to know about that.
Oh, great. It'll be our little secret.
I ain't doing it this time. It's against departmental regulations.
Yeah, I could maybe make it worth your while.
What do you mean?
How does a C note sound?
Oh, well, I don't know.
Oh, what's the matter? You don't like the pitch?
I'm not sure I can hear something so low.
All right, we could maybe raise the volume a little.
Well, that's better, but it's still awful faint. I mean, if you're asking me to sing.
All right. We could maybe add harmony, huh?
Well, a girl does gotta make a living.
Yeah, so I've been told.
All right, I'll get the file. I was working on it when you came in.
Hey, how convenient, huh?
Listen, read it fast.
Hey, don't worry. I'll play the record at 78. Let's see what we got here. Name Simon Bar Jonah, alias The Rock. Says here, he used to be a fisherman out of the North Country, Galilee, and, wait, what's this? For the last 10 years, this guy's been working as a preacher? Yeah. What's the charge against this guy?
Well, it's right there. Disturbing the peace.
Yeah. Who made the complaint?
Well, they didn't write that part down, but I saw it. It was a Pharisee named Alexander.
Pharisee? Oh, I get it. The Pharisees got the religious racket all sewn up. They don't want this preacher muscling in on their territory.
Whenever the Pharisees want anything, they come in here and complain to Herod.
So Herod had the guy picked up. What was he going to do to him?
The word is, they was going to rub him out. Gospel truth.
Rosie, you done it again, huh? We make beautiful music together.
Oh, hey, where's my money?
Oh, yeah. Here you go. Don't spend it all in one place.
Wait, you promised me a C note. This is nothing.
What'd you expect? I'm paying for what's in your head.
Oh, you double-crossing rat. I hate
Oh, hey, take it easy. Somebody could get hurt.
Get out of here. Just get out. Oh.
Hey, kid. It's been fun. Let's do it again sometime.
Oh.
Rosie was always good for a couple of laughs. That broad was the kind of kid to make a bishop want to kick out a stained glass window. Just too bad I'd seen better heads on a mug of root beer. Well, I made a good start, but I needed more on this Rock character. Who were his friends? Where did he hang out? Why was he such a threat? Oh, sure, the Pharisees hated a freelancer crowding their turf, but not usually enough to have him whacked. So what was so special about this Simon? Maybe he knew something. They didn't want him blabbing it. I decided to track down Alexander, that Pharisee that made the original complaint to Herod. Figured if anybody knew the history, he ought to. His house was on the fashionable side of town. Not exactly my beat. I stuck out like a pig's foot in a barrel of kosher dill pickles.
So, you say you're some kind of detective. What's that got to do with me?
Well, I'm looking for somebody you know. Simon, the Rock, Bar Jonah. He escaped from death row last night.
Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that. So what, you, helping the police find him then?
I'm looking for him, yeah. I thought maybe you could help.
Whatever gave you that idea?
Well, the word on the street is you're the guy that ratted him out.
You shouldn't believe too many rumors. It can mess up your head.
Hey, look, everybody knows you hated the guy. All I want to know is why.
Okay, Mr. Shamus.
Shamus. Sam Bar Shamus.
Whatever. The man you're looking for is a menace. He's a heretic, blasphemer, and he preaches sedition against the state.
Yeah? Well, maybe you'd like to make change on those $5 words of yours and tell me what that means in plain Aramaic.
You are a very, brash man, Mr. Barshamis. I like that. The man's a Nazarene preacher. He's a follower of that false prophet executed by Pilate back in the early 30s. Must have heard of him.
Of course. Suddenly it all connected. About 10 years ago, a guy out of Nazareth named Jesus claimed to be the Messiah. Said he and God were part of the same family. The religious establishment had him bumped off when he got too big a following. The wrinkle was some of his followers claimed he was still alive, and the Jesus movement kept growing. I hadn't placed the name before, but now I remembered. This rock character was one of his main men. No wonder they wanted him dead.
Very nicely summarized, Mr. Barshamis. Now, I got a few questions for you. You never told me you were helping the police find this man then, is that right?
Something like that, yeah.
You wouldn't in any way be connected with this godless cult, would you?
Listen, you've been a big help, but I gotta go.
Not so fast, Mr. Barshamis. Who are you working for?
Sorry, I never reveal the name of a client. It's confidential.
Perhaps we could persuade you. Make an exception.
Trust me, it's nobody you know.
Okay. Mr. Barshamas, I think I will trust you this time. But I'd be very careful if I were you. Nobody disappoints me more than once.
Maybe you should learn to count higher.
Vito, show our guest out. Oh, and while you're at it, give him a sample of what happens to people who don't respect the law of God.
Oh. Oh. Judging from the fond farewell, I knew I should have dropped the case right there. The message was clear. Anybody getting mixed up with this Jesus better make sure they look good on wood. Well, at least now I had something solid on the rock. In my book, once you got an idea about who's done the deed, it's time to see where the deed was done, the scene of the crime. So my next stop was the prison kitchen where Johnny worked. I had a little talk with the head cook. She was a sweet old bird, but it didn't take long to figure out. Her caravan was a couple of camels short.
Oh, there you are. Come in, come in. Have a seat right over there.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness. Just a minute. You get up and go stand over there with the rest of them. We don't want to sit on one of our little friends, do we?
No, I guess not.
Can I get you anything? The gruel's especially good today. Hardly a maggot in a bowl full.
I'm afraid I just ate.
Suit yourself. How about all of you over there? No? Well, invisible people can be such picky eaters, don't you think?
From everything I've seen.
So, you say you're a friend of Johnny's.
Well, more like a friend of a friend.
Well, any friend of Johnny's is a friend of mine. I'm so sorry he's sick today. some sort of nervous condition?
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Oh, my goodness. Get up! Get up! Ah! 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 I hate it when they do that.
Me too.
Well, all right then. You know, it is so nice to have a visitor from the outside for a change.
Yeah, you've been here a long time, eh?
Oh, yes. Yes, come next Tuesday, it will be 35 years, 3 months, and 17 and a half days. That's even longer than them.
Yeah, somehow I get the feeling that you've seen a lot in that time.
Oh, you know, people come and go, stoned, starved, fed to the lions, sawed in two, the usual.
Now came the delicate part. What I really needed was inside information about the security arrangements for the night before. Lucky for me, I was trained in the art of subtle interrogation. With the right gentle probing, I'd have this crazy lady spilling the beans faster than an earthquake in a chili parlor. So, did you ever see anything unusual?
You mean like the escape last night? When that Simon fellow managed to walk out of here with 4 soldiers guarding him round the clock, one chained to his right arm, one chained to his left arm, 2 guards standing outside the cell door with a new set of guards every 3 hours and all the doors locked up tight. Oh, listen to me. Spilling the beans like an earthquake in a chili parlor. I declare, Mr. Bartramus, you must be trained in the art of subtle interrogation.
It's a gift. Don't let me stop you. Spill away. You got any idea how the guy pulled it off?
No, it's kind of spooky, isn't it? I mean, everything was all right last night when Johnny took him his dinner. But then, a couple of hours later, I saw a glow coming out from under the cell door. Sort of like those lights you see in your head when you shove your thumbs into your eye sockets real hard. Well, of course, I went down to take a look. And there were the 2 guards still standing there with that chain still locked on their arms, only no one was standing between them anymore. I think those guards were pixelated.
Well, pixelated.
You know, their caravan was a couple of camels short.
Don't say, yeah.
I mean, anyone could tell the prisoner was invisible, but nobody could see it until I pointed it out to them. And then they start shouting and carrying on, and in the confusion, the man got away. Invisible people will do that if you don't keep an eye on them.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Maybe the guards were in on it, huh?
Oh, my goodness, no. They may be pixelated, but they're not suicidal.
How's that?
Do you know what they do if you're a guard here and someone escapes? They do to you what they were going to do to them!
I had to admit, it was hard to imagine 4 tough old soldiers developing a death wish on the same day.
I declare, Mr. Barsamus, you must be pixelated too.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. Who in the world do you keep talking to? All our little friends are over there.
All I could see was it was time to go. Listen, it's been swell talking with you. Tell Johnny I am sorry I missed him.
Pixelated. Absolutely pixelated. Did you see that? He was talking to someone who wasn't even there. Oh, my goodness.
Everything that old biddy said was nuttier than a chipmunk's cheek pouch the day before winter. But if even half of it checked out, something very strange was going on. When I stepped out of the prison, I noticed somebody down the street was watching me. From a distance, they had the kind of face you usually see on a label over the word poison. At first, I didn't think anything of it. But as I headed down the rain-slicked streets of the city, all of a sudden, my gut smelled danger. Something was out of place, some small detail. I kept walking, but by now my detective intuition was getting more prickles than a nudist at a porcupine convention. Oh, sure, the ordinary person might have shrugged it off. But once you've been in this business as long as I have, you learn to trust your instincts. And right now, my instincts added up to one big hunch. I was being followed. I don't like to run from danger, but I knew it was still too early in the plot for a violent confrontation with a mysterious stranger. I decided to make tracks instead. Lucky for me, my friend with the poisonous face wasn't a professional tail. With 10 minutes of fast walking, a quick sedan chair ride, and a little fancy footwork, I managed to shake him. I knew what my next move had to be. I had to make contact with this Jesus cult. If I got lucky, I might just find somebody who knew where Simon the Rock had rolled to. After 4 hours of grueling legwork, I managed to find the address of a house where the Rock used to hang out. By now, I felt like I had lead feet and golden calves. But I couldn't stop now. This case was drawing me on the way a hole left by a missing tooth draws the tip of your tongue. When I got to the right house, I staked it out from across the street. It was easy to spot. It was the only one on the block with a fish painted on the door. After about 20 minutes, a girl came out carrying a basket under her arm. I figured her for a maid, probably on her way to the market to pick up something for dinner. I decided to follow her, do a little picking up on my own. Halfway to the market, I made my move. Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, what is it?
I know this is very rude, but I need to talk with you.
Do I know you?
Well, not exactly, but I think we have a mutual friend. Does the name Rock mean anything to you?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Wait a minute. Didn't I just see you coming out of that house with the fish on the door?
So you know about the fish, then?
Oh, yeah, I now know all about it.
Oh, thank heavens. Well, that means you're a brother.
That is exactly what I am, a brother. The name's Sam.
Hi, I'm Rhoda.
Oh, pleased to meet you, Rhoda.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, would you mind if I helped you carry this, huh?
Oh, you don't have to do that.
Hey, pretty girl like you should not have to walk down a street like this all by herself.
Thanks.
Yeah. You're lucky I came along, you know. This neighborhood ain't exactly safe, huh?
And I'm safe with you.
Me? Hey, I'm a lamb, huh?
Well, maybe now, but I've got a feeling you have a colorful past.
Well, maybe I've been around the block once or twice, you know, but hey.
It's all right, Sam. We've all got a past.
Come on, not a clean-cut girl like you, huh?
Oh, you might be surprised.
Yeah, right. Well, listen, Rhoda, yeah, I got to find the Rock. It is a matter of life and death.
Well, I'm not sure where he is right now.
But you have seen him.
Yes, last night. It was wonderful. He came straight from the prison to our house. I was the one who heard him knocking. I couldn't believe it was him.
Well, what are the odds of that, huh?
Yeah, I got so flustered. I forgot to open the door for him. I just ran and told everyone else, and somebody else had to open the gate. We were all there together, praying for him, you know.
It's swell. Listen, do you think you could find out where he is and let me know, huh?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, hey, here. Take my phone number. Now, I know the Rock's hiding, but come on, I'm sure he'd want to talk with his own brother.
His own brother?
Yeah, like what you said. Me and the Rock growing up in the same house and all.
You're not the Rock's earthly brother.
As soon as you said it, I knew I'd gone too far. I was selling real hard, but she wasn't buying anymore.
Good Lord, what have I done? You're not a follower of Jesus at all, are you?
Okay, so maybe I'm not, but I want to be. Yeah, tell the Rock I want to be part of his group real bad.
Who are you?
I'm a friend, and I really do got to find me. Trust me. All of a sudden, she glances behind my back and gets a look in her eyes, kind of like a deer caught in the high beams of an onrushing chariot. I turn around to see what's spooking her, and what do you know? Half a block back, standing in the shadows, this old poison puss from the prison. I've been followed again. The girl takes off faster than Lot out of Sodom, leaves me standing like a pillar of salt. pretty obvious by now there was somebody else who was interested in this case. But who? There's one way to find out. Casually, I strolled around the next corner and ducked into a doorway. It was time to cut off my tail. All right, get your hands up. All right, you feel that? Yeah, that's the spot where I'm holding a 38 caliber dispenser of lead-lined tickets to the promised land. You listen real careful and do exactly like I tell you, or I might just punch your ticket. And the next thing you'll be flowing with won't be milk and honey, you got it? All right, turn around, slow. Oh, wearing a mask, eh? What's the matter, you ashamed of your face? Take it off. Holy Caesar, it's a dame.
Oh, gee, you figured that out pretty fast for a meathead gumshoe. You must have played with girly pictures in detective school.
No, I was tipped off by your natural feminine charm. So who sent you?
And what's it to you?
I don't like being followed. Makes me nervous. Last thing I need is another dame chasing after me. So why you tailing me?
I ain't telling you nothing.
Hey, there's some things I don't do. I don't shoot women, and I don't lie to them. But in this case, I might be willing to settle for 1 out of 2. So I'm going to ask you one more time, who are you and why are you following me?
Okay. I work in the prison.
What, you're a guard?
No, stupid. They don't got female guards. I work in the back office. I'm a GS2 in the torture department.
Terrific. My tax dollars at work. Does that job mean you have contact with the prisoners?
I like to take a hands-on approach here.
Yeah, well, maybe you know something about the man that escaped last night.
I had nothing to do with that.
That's not what I hear.
Then somebody's lying, because I didn't go near the guy.
I could tell I was getting close to something. She looked more nervous than a two-headed boy at a scalping party. Hold it right there. You take one more step, I'll drill you like a bad tooth.
Oh, yeah? You talk tough, big man. But I've seen plenty of jackal bait like you in my line of work. 2 minutes in my office with a pair of hot pinches, you'll be crying a big enough flood to make animals line up 2 by 2.
Let me tell you a secret, sister. You don't need hot pinchers. Just looking at you makes my skin crawl faster than a baby on a hot beach.
Oh, yeah? Well, following you ain't exactly a picnic. Staring at your caboose all day long's about as exciting as being nibbled to death by a plague of frogs in a river of blood, with your stomach turning over like a belly dancer's rolling down a pyramid.
What the heck are you talking about?
You started it.
Look, all I want to know is why did you let the guy go?
I didn't, I tell you, I never even saw him. He was supposed to be in my office at 5 this morning for a little scream and tell, but he never made it.
No, he just strolled out,
That's
huh?
right.
What about the story there were chains, 4 guards, 2 locked doors?
Look, I don't know how he did it, okay? He was one of those Nazarene preachers. They say those people stole the body of their own founder right out of a guarded graveyard. So maybe they did it again.
What is your interest in me?
What do you think? Me and the guys that was watching this rock character got to get him back real quick. We heard you was on the case, and I got picked to follow you.
Well, I'm flattered.
Yeah, don't get a swelled head. I got the short end of the stick. We just figured if you was lucky enough to run into him, we'd be there when it happened.
Yeah? Well, I don't need a partner. I work alone. So why don't you start walking?
What are you going to do, shoot me in the back?
I told you, I don't shoot women, and I don't lie to them. But like I said, in this case, I might be willing to settle for 1 out of 2.
Well, you don't even have a gun!
Oh, you figured that out pretty fast for a meathead prison worker. You must have played with hands in torturing school.
Why, you lying sack of fin pits! You'll pay for this!
I already have. I just spent 5 minutes with you with your mask off.
One day in my office, I'll make you beg for death.
Sorry, I don't kiss on the first date. Usually I got a nose for this kind of thing, but this time I just couldn't get a grip on it. I doubled back to my office, suddenly realizing the music track behind the show was no longer playing. If it didn't come back on, there'd be a very serious problem. They kept looking for the right cue as I entertained the audience. I knew sooner or later, with the right cue sheet and a little fancy footwork, they'd find the right cue. No, I think it's before that one, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I doubled back to my office. Just who were these Nazarene followers, anyway? According to my friend from the torture department, they were a bunch of jailbreaking grave robbers. And I remembered Rhoda and the things she said. How they used to call each other brothers, just like they were family. And staying up all night praying for a guy on death row. The whole thing was a tangled mess. Just then, the phone cut through my thoughts like the voice of a prophet making my way straight. Hello?
Hello, Sam, is that you?
What do you know? Rhoda.
I hope I'm not making a mistake calling you like this, but Simon, I mean The Rock, he thinks we can risk it.
Yeah, well, he sounds like a smart man.
He says he'll meet you tonight in the room over the oil merchant's shop on Market Street at 10 o'clock sharp. Come alone this time. And, well, God go with you, Sam, whatever you do.
Mr. Barshamis, this is Jerusalem Bell. Our records show an unpaid balance on your billing for the last 3 months that totals exactly.
I'd heard enough. Just a few more hours and maybe I'd get the answers I was looking for. 2 minutes to 10. I was heading up a dark stairway to the meeting room on Market Street. Butterflies the size of archangels nesting in my stomach. When I got there, The Rock was waiting for me. As a preacher, he looked an awful lot like a fisherman. Arms as big as cedar trees and a hard-bitten face with more lines than a road map of the Roman Empire.
Please come in, Mr. Barshamis. I've been looking forward to meeting you.
You can call me Sam, and the feeling's mutual.
Okay, Sam. I understand you want to find out about following Jesus.
I decided to play it straight. Look, all I want to know is how'd you pull that trick at the prison? Who was in on it? Who did you bribe, and how much?
Is that it? I was hoping you were searching for the truth.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for, the truth.
All right, Sam. I'll tell you. Last night, I was asleep in my cell when someone hit me in the side and woke me up. I thought it was one of the guards, but when I opened my eyes, the cell was filled with a bright light, and I found myself face to face with an angel.
An angel?
I didn't believe it myself. I thought I was having a vision. The angel told me to stand up, and the chains I was wearing just fell from my arms. I put on my coat and followed him right past the guards at the door. It wasn't until we got to the gate of the city that I realized I was really free.
Forgive me if I don't look convinced, but that story is harder to swallow than 12 baskets of leftover bread.
I know. There were a lot of things I thought were impossible before I met Jesus. But once you see a man come back from the dead, anything can happen.
You really believe he's still alive?
I know he is. I saw him.
All of a sudden, I wondered who opened the window. How else could I explain the chill running down my back? Oh, sure, I'd heard the story about the body of Jesus disappearing from the tomb, but just like old Poison Puss from the prison, I always assumed his followers snatched it and made up that story about his comeback just to keep their little movement alive. But if the Rock believed the whole thing, they couldn't have taken the body. So who did? It was essentially the authorities didn't have it. They would have produced it long ago. The last thing they wanted was a resurrection story on the loose. The whole thing was crazy enough to make you wonder about angels. All of a sudden, I had another angel to worry about, though. This one was named Death, and it was pounding on the door downstairs.
Open up! We know you're in there!
Break it down! I can hear their voices!
Come on, let's go!
I ran to the head of the stairs. Old Poison Puss was more of a pro than I thought. She'd followed me again. This time it was one of her pals. I didn't stick around to see him squeeze past what was left of the door. I just dived back in the room and looked for another way out. The Rock was standing over by a window, waving me on. Together, we climbed out onto the fire escape and made our way to the roof. When we got there, the Rock paused and turned to me. And then he touched his hand to my forehead.
Don't be afraid, Sam. The mark of God is on you. The Lord is watching over you. I know it.
I didn't have time to complain about the quality of the care. I just ran. The Rock stayed behind. He led the pursuit in the opposite direction. 3 rooftops later, I still wasn't looking back. Ahead of me, there was an older building, an abandoned warehouse for grain shipments. My jump to the roof was only inches wider than the alley. I landed off balance. It was too late when I saw the gaping hole in the roof in front of me. I tripped over a constellation of stars and fell into darkness. When I woke up hours later, my head felt like Goliath's the day after David. I was lying on a pile of rat-eaten feed bags, and then I felt a hand on my shoulder, and when I turned, what do you know? Maybe there are angels. Rhoda, how did you get here?
Oh, take it easy, Sam. You've been unconscious.
How did you find me?
The Rock thought you might be in trouble. He sent some of us to look.
He got away again, huh? What are the odds of that? He tell you what happened?
He said there was an ambush and you had to run for it.
Yeah, but he also tell you he laid his life on the line to save my hide.
Well, he didn't mention that part, but I'm not surprised.
Well, thanks for coming, but you shouldn't be here. It's too dangerous. Oh.
Whoa, take it easy, Sam. I'm here to help. I can take you to see the Rock.
You're crazy. By now, half the city must be looking for me.
Well, it's okay. He wants to see you.
Rhoda, you don't understand. Ugh. Yesterday, when I said all those things about I wanted to join up with the Rock, it wasn't strictly true.
Well, I know that, Sam.
Yeah, well, the truth is I was hired to find him. In the process, I managed to lead the authorities straight to him. Those people that attacked us last night, they were following me. I don't want that to happen again. Last night, the Rock stood up for me. I'd like to return the favor.
Well, okay, we can go somewhere else if you want, but I'm not leaving without you.
I'll be darned if I know what makes you people tick.
Well, stick around. Maybe it'll come to you.
We waited around for a few more minutes, and we made our way through the back streets to my office. When we got there, the door was open. Somebody was inside. I knew I couldn't run from Herod's men forever. Besides, I was tired of running. It's time to bring the game to an end. All right, Poison Puss, if you want me, here I am.
course. Oh, Sam, I just love your pet names.
Lola, what are you doing here?
We're waiting for you, Sammy. I didn't know we'd have company. Who's the little chippy?
She's a friend. Oh, something you wouldn't know about.
Don't be rude, Sammy. You should introduce us. Hello. My name is Lola. I'm a close personal client of Sam's.
Hi, I'm Rhoda.
So, have you known Sam a long time?
Oh, not really, just yesterday and last night.
Oh, really?
I'm not exactly sure, but Sam might turn out to be a long-lost brother.
My, Sammy, we have been a busy little detective.
All right, Lola, I know you didn't come here just to sneer. Don't you have some wheedling to do, too?
Sammy, you've got me all wrong. I came here to bring you good news.
Yeah, is that right?
Yes. Johnny called from the prison last night. He said some of the guards had left their post to look for the man who escaped. He heard them say they were going to follow some meathead gumshoe. I was afraid that might be you.
Thanks. It's nice to be recognized.
Well, Johnny said when they got mad, they got back, they looked awfully mad. And they were all hot and dirty like they'd been chasing someone.
All right. Get to the point. They're probably still right on my heels.
No, that's the good news. These are the same guards who were on duty the night of the escape. And when Johnny saw they left their post, he turned them in.
Of course. What are friends for?
Oh, he didn't want to, but I told him it was his duty. And when Herod saw they left their post, he decided they must be part of the plot.
Oh, no. What happened to those poor men?
Well, actually, there was a woman, too, some unfortunate girl from the torture department.
What are you saying?
Well, Herod had them all, you know. They're all dead, Sam.
Oh, Sam, that's terrible.
No, that's wonderful, don't you see? Johnny's safe now, and you're safe, too. Somebody else has taken the rap.
It's true. It's true. Everybody who knew I was with the Rock last night is gone. What are the odds of that?
I've got a sedan show waiting outside, Sam. Why don't you come with me so I can show you just how grateful I am?
No, there's something else I got to do.
Not even for old time's sake?
Look, I know it's crazy, but I got to know. What if there really is something behind this whole Jesus thing?
Why, Sam, I do believe you're becoming sentimental.
Maybe so. All I know is if that sedan chair leaves and I'm on it, I'll regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon and for the rest of my life.
All right, Sam, if that's the way you want it. Goodbye, Sammy. Oh, and thanks for the cab fare.
Better hurry or you'll miss that chair.
I think this might be yours.
How did you do that?
Well, like I said, Sam, we've all got a past. Look, the Rock's waiting for you in the house with the fish on the door. He says you're welcome anytime.
I walked out into the daylight. Now I was one more missing body. A sacrifice had been made, and I was spared. In my mind, I heard the sound of angel wings passing over me. Me with the mark of God on my forehead. When I got to the right house, I went straight in without knocking. The Rock was waiting for me. When I came through that door, he got a look in his eyes. A look I remembered from the night before. It was the kind of look. It was the kind of look. The kind of look one brother gives to another. It was an invitation to be part of a family. Yeah, maybe this Jesus was alive. I had the feeling This was the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Oh my God.